Of all the ways we imagined making first contact, none of them looked like this. We didn't get a grand fleet descending from the clouds or a cryptic message embedded in a radio signal. There was no majestic monolith and no "take me to your leader." Instead, what we got was silence. We found a ship, just one, and it was buried 2 miles beneath the Antarctic ice, where it had been sleeping for at least 75,000 years. The first sign was a gravitational anomaly so strange. The young geologist who flagged it thought his equipment was broken. But it wasn't. It wasn't a flying saucer or a menacing warship. It was elegant, shaped like a teardrop, about the size of a small submarine. It had no visible seams, no windows, no engines. Its surface was the color of a starless midnight sky, and it didn't reflect light so much as swallow it. Touching it felt like touching nothing at all. The discovery, of course, changed everything. At a joint press conference, the leaders of nations who had been rivals just weeks before stood side by side, their voices filled with a rare, unified sense of awe. For a brief, shining moment, it united humanity. All our terrestrial squabbles seemed utterly insignificant. We were not alone. The proof was here, silent and perfect, pulled from its icy tomb. The world's best minds assembled at a newly built subterranean facility around the object, which we simply called the Visitor. The initial goal was simple: get inside. But the ship resisted. Drills made of the hardest diamond composites were ground down to dust. Lasers powerful enough to slice through a battleship left not even a scratch. Scans were useless. Every frequency we aimed at it was either completely absorbed or perfectly deflected, revealing nothing of its interior. It was a perfect black box, an absolute enigma. Weeks turned into months, months into years. The initial global euphoria began to curdle into a profound, collective frustration. The ship did nothing. It emitted no energy, no signals, no sound. It just sat there, a maddeningly quiet testament to a technology so far beyond our own. It might as well have been magic. Unable to understand the how, we became obsessed with the why. Why was it here? Was it a probe? A lifeboat? A tomb? This single, inert object began to warp human society. Science was thrown into chaos. It was like showing a smartphone to a medieval blacksmith. He can see that it exists, but he has absolutely no conceptual framework to understand how. A strange paralysis set in. What was the point of incremental research when this thing proved we were still in the Dark Ages? Religions and philosophies fractured. Some saw the ship as a divine artifact. Cults sprang up, clashing with security forces as they made pilgrimages to the Antarctic facility to worship at the altar of the Silent Star. Others preached that it was a warning, a cosmic temptation. The world's political unity disintegrated. A new kind of Cold War began. Since no one could open the ship, the race shifted to claiming it. Nations poured trillions into projects trying to replicate its impossible material, convinced that whoever unlocked its secrets would control the future. The Visitor became the most valuable and dangerous object on Earth. Not because of what it could do, but because of what we imagined it could do. And no one saw that reflection more clearly than Dr. Eris Thorne. Now an old man, his hair the color of the ice that once held his life's work. He was the last of the original Discovery team. He sat in his study, high above a city that glittered with technologies born not from the ship, but from the desperate race to understand it. On his desk, a small screen showed a live feed from Antarctica. The Visitor, unchanged, unblemished, silent. He picked up a faded photograph of a woman and 2 children, a life lived mostly through video calls and short visits. He had missed so much. Was it worth it? We thought it was the key, he whispered to the empty room. The key to the stars, to endless energy, to immortality. We thought they had left us an answer. He let out a soft, weary sigh. But we were wrong. It wasn't an answer. It was a question. And the question was simply, who are you? The ship gave us nothing. No blueprints, no revelations. It just sat there and listened. And in its silence, it forced us to speak. And we told it everything. We told it we were brilliant and foolish. We were creators and destroyers. We were capable of sublime unity and petty, violent division. We told it we would sacrifice anything for a truth we couldn't even comprehend. He placed the photograph down gently. It wasn't a textbook. It was an examination, and we are still taking the test. The ship didn't need to do anything to us. We did it all to ourselves. He looked from the silent ship on his screen to the vibrant, chaotic city outside his window. A terrible, beautiful truth, bought at the price of a lifetime. The aliens had never shown up, but they had revealed humanity perfectly.